Today's the day. I never miss Sierra Vista's Spotlight Breakfast. I guess this year it's bring your own bacon and your own swag. At least I have the best seat in the house.
Hello, Sierra Vista. Each year, the City of Sierra Vista produces a Spotlight Breakfast. In that breakfast, we share with you the accomplishments of the last year and the challenges that are coming up for the next year. Unfortunately, owing to COVID, we will not be able to host that breakfast this year. But don't worry, your hardworking city staff has come up with this excellent program for you to view that answers all those questions and provides that information. So please sit back and enjoy, and next year we'll see you at the Spotlight Breakfast.
At the risk of overstating the obvious, certainly 2020 and the whole COVID-19 situation has been a challenge for the entire community as well as the City of Sierra Vista as an organization. We've had a number of things occurring, dealing with the governor's executive orders, business closures, lockdowns, mask requirements, issues with school reopenings, those kind of things. We understand how, divisive some of these issues can be, but we also understand that everybody has a different opinion about them as well. With that being said, I want to commend the citizens of Sierra Vista because your response to all of this has been fantastic. We see that in the numbers in terms of the COVID situation and active cases here in our 2 zip codes. We've seen an actual decline since the spike in active cases to very, very low numbers now. And if we continue to do what we're doing, I think we're going to come out of this better sooner than a lot of places in Arizona. So again, I appreciate everybody in Sierra Vista and the cooperation they've given to help us battle the pandemic as a whole. Also want to talk a little bit about the local economy. We've been very blessed here, having Fort Huachuca as our primary employer, and also the retirees that we have here, obviously a lot of them on pensions, Social Security, and those kind of things. So we haven't really seen a resulting decline in our sales tax revenues as a result of those things. So that has been a very, very good thing for us, not only as a community, but as an organization as well. Our budget situation is very good as a result of that, and we are actually seeing revenues going up instead of going down. Also very helpful in all that was the CARES Act funding that came from the federal government through the governor's office, some $4.9 million, which we're using this year to pay for public safety personnel, police and fire, which is a very good thing and I thought was a good decision. And certainly the city and the budget situation has benefited as a result of getting CARES Act funding. Also, one of the things we've noticed, I mentioned the fort and everybody's still employed up there. A lot of them, of course, are working from home as a result of that. And certainly, we've extended that to city employees as well, and we found that during this situation, that has worked out pretty well for us. So we'll continue to do that, and hopefully, when the governor puts us into a phase 2 reopening, we're going to see our facilities reopened, events in the community start opening up again, and hopefully see all those things occur as we get back to a more normal footing. But things like teleworking and those kind of things, I think will continue to be with us and will be something positive, I think, that comes out of this. Interestingly, Business Insider named us as one of the top cities in the West to be during a pandemic. and a lot of factors such as the ability to telework, the high-tech jobs that we have here in the community, the wide open spaces and outdoor activities that we have here are all reasons why they named us one of the top cities to be in. And we think that's actually a great marketing tool for us. A lot of people will not want to be in the larger cities, and while that's not a good thing necessarily for them, places like Sierra Vista stand to benefit from people moving here and taking advantage of the housing opportunities and the recreational opportunities that we have here in Sierra Vista. So again, I think the community has responded very well to this. We do understand that businesses have been negatively affected by this, primarily our small business base, restaurants and bars, hotels. A lot of those businesses are hurting. The employees of those businesses hurting as well. And we need to remember them, as well as our faith-based organizations and our charitable organizations in the community have suffered also. We need to remember them, and I ask that all Sierra Vistans continue to support our local businesses, faith-based organizations, and charities through this, because there are people there that still need the help, and if you're able to help in any way, I would appreciate that as well. So with that, enjoy the rest of our film. You'll see a lot of our various department heads describing some of the exciting projects that we have going on in the community plan for the next year. The Fry North Garden project, the Rothery Center project, and the expansion of Veterans Memorial Park in the future, our new ambulance station over by Tompkins Park, which I think will receive some grant funds for to help us with that as well, and just some very, very exciting things for the future of the community. So enjoy the rest of the film, and we look forward to seeing you in person next year. Thanks.
In many ways, this has been an unprecedented year for the city, as it has for many businesses and many of our residents. However, many city operations have continued with business as usual, and particularly our public safety has continued to answer calls with a little more personal protective equipment, of course. Our trash continues to get picked up, the phones continue to be answered, but the department that this has really hit the hardest has been our Leisure and Library Services department. And I'm sure the community has noticed that many of our lobbies are closed, our library's been closed, the Cove has been closed, there haven't been events going on in the park. And that's been difficult for many. It's also been an opportunity, though, to find new ways of doing things, and we've done that particularly here at the library with our curbside pickup. Our staff has moved to doing a lot of online programming, so there have been opportunities to find different ways to serve the public, and we are following CDC guidelines and the governor's orders on the number of people in gatherings. At this point, we're waiting to move into phase 2 to begin considering issuing event permits again. At this point, the city's event permits are on hold through October, and we're reassessing the situation on a monthly basis. Despite the situation, progress has continued on many of our strategic plan items, and not just progress, but significant progress. And so now you're going to hear from our department heads and many of our division managers on the progress they've made with their strategic plan projects over the past year.
We're excited to be moving forward with the West Fry Boulevard Streetscape Improvement Project. One of the things we heard from the public during the last general planning process is how they were really looking for a different feel and look for the West End. The city has secured funding for the project, and we're currently moving forward with the design. We already held 2 open houses, and we're ecstatic to have about 100 people present at each one. The final concept is what we refer to as the boardway concept. It incorporates elements that were most popular from the previous plans, things like rainwater harvesting, landscaping, and event space. The design utilizes a complete streets approach, which means it'll be safe for use by a variety of modes of transportation, including vehicles, bicycles, and pedestrians. This will lend itself readily to a downtown concept where people feel comfortable being out in the community and enjoying the amenities of the West End. This is a lengthy process with a lot of behind-the-scenes steps. We're currently in the design phase, which we anticipate to continue into the early part of 2021. After that, we anticipate going to construction in mid-2021, with the construction period lasting approximately a year. Next up, our Community Development Director, Matt McLaughlin, will go into further detail on improvements we are already seeing on the historic West End.
As Sharon said, we're pressing ahead with our West End revitalization efforts despite the headwinds created by COVID-19. Strengthening neighborhoods and supporting business investment are key focus areas in the City Council's strategic plan. This involves significant engagement with residents and business owners to determine what the critical needs are and the priorities. Most of our communication these days has been over the phone and in small group meetings where we can socially distance. We are reconvening the West End Commission this month after a brief hiatus to discuss our recent progress. Julie and Sammy's 33 Flavors and 143 Street Tacos are recent additions to the West End that have benefited from this matching grant program. We also provided grant assistance to the Southwest Business Complex, which is located next to the Chamber, for building facade and signage improvements that also included a series of colorful murals along Bartow Drive. Murals are a great way to capture attention and give a place an authentic feeling. We're now working with the owner of the property, the Politi family, on converting the old Blues Cafe on the corner of Wilcox and South 1st Street into a new Italian pizza kitchen. Stay tuned for progress on that endeavor.
Stop the shoot. Hey, sorry, stop the shoot. This might be that callback on the audition. Pablo Arciniega Esquire speaking. Oh, hey Mom. This could be a minute. I don't want to hold you up. Can you catch me up?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
Thanks. I'll be right back. No, Mom, no. Still single. Yeah, no. Yeah. No, it's cool. Yeah. Technology's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, I'm waiting on the call.
Increasing public art on the West End has been a really big focus of the West End Commission. We eventually landed on a site in the Frytown site neighborhood with a large water tower. The city reached out to Liberty Utilities, who provided financial assistance. The city ultimately landed on Carrie Olahe, a local artist, to paint 2 larger-than-life hummingbirds. The mural was completed in the midst of Arizona's stay-at-home order and provided a sense of hope that progress could still be made despite the challenges posed by COVID-19. Another project we've made progress on this year is Timothy Lane Park. Timothy Lane Park is an underutilized asset in a neighborhood with historical flooding issues. Each year we receive federal block grant money to upgrade public facilities and infrastructure in certain neighborhoods. One of the ways we try to stretch the budget is by using in-house staff wherever possible. Community Development and Parks and Recreation staff developed a master plan that was turned over to engineering for design and construction documentation. The irrigation and landscaping were installed by park staff who did an amazing job. The dirt lot has been transformed into an attractive green space with walking paths that interconnect with the trail system along Buffalo Soldier Trail. A large stormwater basin was constructed to capture the historical sheet flow, and a bright red bench swing was added for people to take in our extraordinary skies. We've received a lot of positive feedback on that project, and now our attention will be shifting over to Soldier Creek Park and Eddie Sear Park in the upcoming year for further community development block grant investment. So in connection with the city's redevelopment efforts, the city has struck a deal to acquire the 1.3-acre property adjoining South Fab Avenue and Fry Boulevard next to the ice cream shop. Most of the property is vacant except for a small commercial strip building dating back to the middle of last century that is showing its age. The city intends to demolish this structure early next year and tie the property into the redevelopment of West Fry Boulevard. The site is an ideal candidate for green infrastructure improvements to alleviate drainage problems in the area. Its central location on the west end also presents the potential for public parking and special event gathering space for community activities. We'll be exploring a range of options in concert with the community in the coming months.
Yeah, no, I love you too, Ma. I love you too. All right, bye. Sorry about that. So, what'd I miss?
So we basically heard a lot of good things are going on in the West End, and plans are really coming together to make that area feel and function like a downtown.
Well, that's pretty awesome. Is that all?
I think something about beer is coming up next.
You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
So as you've heard from both Matt and Sharon, we've made great progress on the revitalization on the West End. And it's just one example, the old Daisy Mays property located next to the Best Western. They're making great progress themselves on their plans and efforts to bring in Tombstone Brewery with the plans to be open next spring. Well, I mean, our overall role is to facilitate and work with local businesses. And if you take the example of Daisy Mays or Ponderosa at the Best Western, we've been working with them for 3 years. And that involved buying, before they bought the property, the redevelopment of the property, code enforcement, permitting, and at the end of the day, we're really just trying to make it easy for businesses to get through that process and get open. You know, it goes back again when we started 3 years ago. They'd been looking at the property for a while. We had great conversations about where we were as a city, where Fort Huachuca and where the community were. So that was kind of the ability for them to crystallize the opportunity to go forward. They had the opportunity as they went to buy Daisy Mays, and they were really looking for a restaurant. And in fact, we kind of laughed the other day in our discussion that they were looking for a microbrewery as we had this discussion just a couple years ago. And that's, in the end, the best solution, and kind of that's where they settled. So if you just take the Daisy Mays project as one example, it really demonstrates the culmination of efforts by actually multiple city councils, city staff to work the redevelopment area, the grant program, the streetscape project, and the entertainment district. If you pull all those things together, this is the example of what I think we all envision for the community and envision for the West End. So ultimately, by changing the environment, you know, and we talk about the physical environment, to really set a downtown focused area on people, walkability, the bikeability. At the end of the day, you want a place that's attractive, you want a place that people can go. And as we've talked about, is you wanted to bring in a CEO or CFO that wanted to invest in the community. You want to take them to a vibrant, beautiful location. And again, redeveloping the West End right next to Fort Huachuca, our economic driver, makes all the sense in the world. So with the redevelopment, you also want to be able to capture and maintain the history of the West End and the importance that it played in our community. And in this case, we had the opportunity to link up our museum director, Elizabeth Rozak, with the business owners and give her the opportunity to capture that and bring the elements of Daisy Mays and that unique history into our museum for future generations to see. So next up, we'll hear from our museum curator, Elizabeth, and she'll talk about her efforts to work and capture the history of Daisy Mays.
The Daisy Mays site is really important to the city because that's where the first structure built outside the gates of Fort Huachuca was. And as the building progressed, it went on to serve the community in a lot of different ways. First as a brothel, then as a post office and general store, and eventually a family restaurant. And in the future, it'll be the home to the Tombstone Brewing Company. So it really kind of represents this area's progression from the sort of Wild West pioneer community into what's going to be a central part of the city's revitalization efforts. We would have loved to have been able to preserve the original building. Unfortunately, there have been so many additions and changes over the year that it didn't meet the standards for historic designation and then get the protections and the funding opportunities that come with that. And I know when the new ownership came in, they spent a lot of time and money looking at preservation. Unfortunately, the building had fallen into such disrepair that in the end, it just wasn't feasible. The ownership was really great in ensuring that we could preserve different elements of the building's history. Brad Christensen and Matt Brown reached out and invited the museum in and gave me really full reign in taking whatever I wanted for the museum, which, you know, they didn't have to do. So I think it really shows a lot of character and a commitment to our community and its history. So when gathering the artifacts, I really wanted to get pieces that were representative of different eras of the building's history. So I've got some really old pieces like this part of the original bar and an old mirror and some old brass carriage lights. But then I also got some nice mid-century things like a spittoon and some wall sconces, and then some more modern pieces like the Daisy Mays sign behind me. And so I'm going to be using that in this display to highlight the history not only of that site, but the area surrounding it. Looking forward, I'm going to be meeting with Matt Brown from Tombstone Brewing Company and his designer and looking at ways to incorporate the site's history into the new building. And I've got some really fresh and innovative ideas on the most effective ways to do that. And so although the old building is gone, Matt and I are really concentrating on this new opportunity to tell the site's story. And I'm excited to share that another piece of history is getting its time to shine in the West End. Let's head out to the Fry Pioneer Cemetery and check it out. Welcome to Fry Pioneer Cemetery, a National Historic Landmark located right here in our backyard. The restoration and preservation of the Fry Pioneer Cemetery was really decades in the making, but it wasn't until the city was able to secure full ownership that the work here could begin. So that's when we could start, plotting and marking the graves and adding some other features like the gabion wall and the iron fencing to secure it. And this was a really community and volunteer-based project. So when we won one of the Governor's Heritage Preservation Honor Awards, it was really exciting because we were competing with these really large, well-funded organizations. And I think it really speaks to the commitment of our community and the passion that we were able to garner such a prestigious statewide award. Our work here is not quite complete. We have some smaller projects that we need to do in the future, but SVHS just received a grant through Arizona Humanities for a service gate, which is really the last piece to securing this site. So right now we're just really excited about getting that up and being able to open up this important historical resource to the public for the first time in over a decade.
So partnering with Schneider Electric on this energy initiative has enabled us to take some of our deferred maintenance projects, enhance them greatly, and it created energy savings by doing so, and that energy savings actually helps to pay back the loans taken for accomplishing all of those projects. The projects that were included in this initiative were several air conditioning units across the city, LED lighting in all the city buildings with a few minor exceptions, LED lights on all of the soccer and baseball and softball fields in the city. The lighting protects our night skies and increases visibility and player safety on the fields. Electrical pedestals at Veterans Memorial Park, new boiler systems at the Cove, a new wave machine for the Cove, and significant improvements to our environmental operations park. The benefits of the artificial turf soccer fields, it actually solves several issues for us. It creates a safe and solid surface for all players to play on, which increases player safety, allows them to play their sport year-round. We were also using a lot of our sports field for multi-use. So by giving soccer a place of their own, it actually rests in between on our other fields so that things like baseball and softball can also play year-round without several tiny feet kicking soccer balls. So we're trying to use every field for the purposes that they were designed for and to serve the entire community in the sport of their choosing year-round all the time. Another benefit of the turf fields are the ability to save millions of acre-feet of water every year, year over year, and sets the foundation for us to begin working with our local soccer community and offering our beautiful fields to the rest of the state and the region and other states maybe, to welcome sports tourism here in the way of soccer tournaments. Soccer tournaments are huge family travel experiences, and our families leave our area every weekend, and we'd love for them to stay home and welcome people to visit our beautiful community through sports. We have some other exciting things in the works right now as well. We're working on our parks master plan, which includes our neighborhood parks, our major event parks. It includes the Rothery Center. There's some great things coming up there. And our Assistant City Manager, Victoria Yarborough, is going to be talking about that next.
The city purchased 21 acres of what was formerly the Rothery Center recreational space this year, which has been in the works for quite some time. City councils had goals in their strategic plan for at least the last 2 cycles regarding that property. Now that the city's been able to purchase the 21 acres, more improvement will be on the way, starting first with the irrigation system so the fields can be restored and usable again. One of the reasons the city really wanted to buy that property was because it's the best and most cost-effective way to expand Veterans Memorial Park right beside it. Another strategic plan goal has been to create a new parks master plan which will guide future improvements for all city parks, but especially for Veterans Park and its expansion to the east into the former Rothery property. That plan is in progress and should be finished next year. Next, you'll hear from Tony Boone, Economic Development Manager, about our recent efforts at the Sierra Vista Municipal Airport.
So another key focus for the city's economic development efforts really surrounds the municipal airport. And again, if you've been around the community, there's not a ton of excess industrial property. And what makes that truly unique is the types of businesses that we can bring. And it really comes back to the partnership with Fort Huachuca and access to that 12,001 foot runway. So it gives us a unique opportunity to go out and find both businesses and jobs to bring them to Sierra Vista. So we've actually taken several steps now, and we've got several in the future with concern to the airport. So we've got an airport master plan. We've done an airport study to look at the opportunities. We're finalizing the engineering work to do the actual dirt work, the redevelopment, and prepare the land for future growth. And we expect to see in this next budget that we'll actually get to do the physical work on the airport itself and prepare it for construction. The real effort now to move the dirt, as we've called it, and move the mountain is really to bring it to the preparation level that it can be built on. And if you understand a business cycle, once they decide to make a business decision and move, they want to be open within 9 to 12 months. That mountain, or the excess dirt on the property, really prevents us from marketing it or selling it. So this next effort in this fiscal year is to get it ready to go so we can start to really market and bring in businesses. So one key element to this is, of course, that we've got to bring in a business that is complementary to Fort Huachuca. And again, we don't want to hinder their training mission, and again, we don't want to impact that. So we're going to be very specific in the types of businesses that we have, and we're going to continue to work that partnership with the Fort. And up next, we'll have an update from our Fire Chief, Brian Jones.
We're pleased to share that Sierra Vista's medical response will soon get a boost thanks to the implementation of Emergency Medical Dispatch at CCOM, our regional dispatch center. Emergency Medical Dispatch offers a systematic program for handling medical calls that speeds up the dispatching process while also enabling the dispatchers to provide callers with vetted instructions. People who call 911 for medical issue will enjoy a quicker response time and will receive vetted instructions on what they can do before responders arrive on the scene. This creates a 0-minute response that empowers dispatchers to help people immediately without worrying about liability or judgment calls. Another project we're really excited about is the construction of an EMS substation at the northeast corner of 7th Street and Buffalo Soldier Trail. Residents living in this area will benefit from increased response times on medical calls. This station will also improve our capacity to serve the entire community, as personnel in other stations that would typically be dispatched to that area will instead remain ready to take other calls. As Sierra Vista continues to grow, this will ensure our residents continue to enjoy the extraordinary service they expect from Sierra Vista Fire and Medical Services.
The police department enjoys great support from members of this community, and we're always looking for ways to improve the services that we provide to the community and protect this community. One of those ways is through accreditation through the Commission on the Accreditation of Law Enforcement Agencies. It's an international organization that accredits law enforcement agencies throughout the United States, Mexico, Canada, and Barbados. We were first accredited in 2014. That was a result of a long process started by many chiefs before in order to continuously improve this department. Accreditation offers a lot of value in terms of for the community. It demonstrates that we're continuously looking for the best practices in law enforcement, and that our policies, procedures, and our practices meet those standards that are developed through the Commission. Once you've been accredited, the process doesn't stop there. These standards are continuously being changed and improved. We are initially accredited in 2014. We received a re-accreditation in 2017. I think there's a lot of reasons why it's worth it. I mean, for the city, there's reduced liability because there's proof that the department is following what's recommended as best practices. In fact, I know all the insurance companies ask if an agency is accredited or not. But the biggest one is that it shows that the department has a culture of this continuous improvement, and that we're always looking for better ways of doing things. And that we are open to the public and open to having our policies, having our practices reviewed to make sure that we're in compliance. So it should give the community confidence that the police department is doing everything that it possibly can to provide the best possible service and be the best agency that we can be.
Do you have a hard time trusting whether something is fake or fact?
I do. Is social media driving you crazy?
Oh, it is.
Doesn't it make you just want to bang the table?
It does.
What are you doing to your table? Leave it alone.
It's a little late for that, buddy.
Well, we can't solve all the problems in the world. We can offer you a safe, engaging space to keep up with your local government.
All right, well, that's cool.
Now, let's join Marketing and Communications Manager Judy Hector to learn about an online platform powered by Bang the Table. It'll make it easier than ever to stay informed, share your voice, and shape Sierra Vista.
Wait a minute, that news anchor looked a lot like me. This is getting weird.
Just try not to think about it too much.
Okay.
Nowadays, it's easy to be overwhelmed by the 24/7 news cycle and what feels like social media's crisis of the day every day. There are so many places to get information, but unfortunately, it can be harder than ever to know what information you can trust. Engage.sierravistaaz.gov is the city's new hub for resident engagement. The platform is made possible through a company called Bang the Table, but don't. Instead, point your browser to engage.sierravistaaz.gov and learn how you can stay informed, share your voice, and shape Sierra Vista. You'll find our Council HQ with links to council meetings, minutes, and more. This will serve as a one-stop shop where you can read summaries of council meetings, contact the mayor and council, and learn about current public input opportunities and watch recent meetings. The West Fry North Garden project is there too, where you can find information and ask questions about the project. And you'll also find our new Let's Talk Sierra Vista podcast with links to recent episodes and a space to join in the conversation by sharing your comments, topic ideas, and questions. And there's a fake or fact page where you can ask questions about any city-related rumor that you might have heard and get a straight answer. And this is just the beginning. We're planning to grow the platform over time by adding more topics and opportunities for input. Signing up is free, simple, and secure. Once you join, you can expect a safe, friendly space to share your thoughts, ask questions, and get real answers. Engage.sierravistaaz.gov. Stay informed, share your voice, shape Sierra Vista.
Hey, thank you for watching the City of Sierra Vista's 2020 Virtual Spotlight Breakfast. We know it's been a tough year.
And yet we know we'll get through this together.
And Sierra Vista will be stronger for it.
Stay safe, stay healthy, be kind.
We'll see you next year, Sierra Vista.
Well done, Sierra Vista. Not bad for government work. Wait, how much did this cost?
Actually, we did it ourselves.
Whoa. Back up the truck. So you're saying it didn't cost any money? No dinero?
Just staff time.
Wait, what about the actors? Wait, seriously though, what about the actors? Do they get paid?
Well, you're the only actor, and you agreed to do it for free.
Darn it! Mom always told me to read the fine print. Wait, do I get to keep the socks?
Yeah, we're not gonna want those back.
Worth it.